rival of Magnus of Prague. I played him Aeroflot Open a couple of years ago, several years ago, and I described like making the port rating before the game that in his chess education, one thing is missed. He's not playing any kind of dynamical chess. He tries to avoid any kind of messy positions. He's very, very classical educated. And I think this game would depend on the point if Magnus will manage to create kind of mess on board, or Pragg will slowly squeeze through maybe slightly worse position to kind of style he's used to play. Therefore, yeah, I think Magnus' choice of e3 move, avoiding of all kind of scimitarish typical openings, trading half of the pieces, telling the same. So he wants to get as more pieces as possible, as more unstable structure as possible. We clearly will see or hanging pawns or isolated pawn pretty soon. So now all depends on Magnus' choice and Pragg's style of position or not. Because some types of chess it's not easy to play for Pragg.
Yeah, I think you've nailed it there. Actually, when I lost to Pragg when he was 12, I was actually better for most of the game. I turned down a few draws, but it wasn't endgame, very technical, and he was great there, using his classical education. But I played him recently last year, and I actively tried to make it more dynamic, and he was very, very uncomfortable. And actually, that game I was a move or two away from winning. So yeah, I think he's definitely still has some weaknesses, which he will paper over the next few years. And meanwhile, Magnus trying to keep as many pieces on the board in order to head for those dynamic waters. So a couple of trades so far. This is still quite a well-known position, and the usual move here is knight takes pawn in the center, just to ensure black has an isolated pawn, something a bit long-term. But Magnus was about to say, I just have a feeling he was going to recapture it with his own pawn. And this is exactly the same pawn structure we saw earlier today between Kostenyuk and Magnus. But their colors were reversed. And this time, though, white is slightly more active than Kostenyuk was in that situation.
I expect delivery bishop on g5, knight on e5. Magnus wants to be on the pressing side. He wants to go more central, and clearly he wants to use the advantage of the first move. So this is the symmetry, but compared to the game versus Kostenyuk, he didn't spoil a single tempo in the position.
Wow. And you were talking about symmetry there, and I was going to say the top move is actually to copy white, and you can see Praggnanandhaa, he knows his stuff, and he's following suit.
Yeah, everything is symmetrical pretty much apart from the placement of a couple of bishops. So yeah, Magnus meanwhile taking control of one of the only open lines in the position. And will Praggnanandhaa copy, try and trade a set of rooks off on this open file, or will he bring his slice-bird bishop out? Struggling to even find a defense here for white, and Magnus clearly struggling as well. As you mentioned, Jovanka, the big threat in the position is the black, just to offer some trades or just to create some safety. But no, okay, Magnus does try and create that air for his king, but as you guys mentioned, the only escape square for that white king is up the board on a light square.
8.5 on the bar.
Checkmate is just coming. What happens after black brings the queen down to the first rank on the E1 square? It's just, I mean, it's just checkmate coming.
Just game over.
It's just game over.
16-year-old Praggnanandhaa, the youngest player in the tournament against the world champion. This could be a little piece of history in the making.
I think we've cursed Magnus. We didn't follow him today, and then he won all his games. As soon as we followed him,
Right,
he's about to lose.
we followed him with Kostaniuk.
True. But he's about to lose a sensational game now. And there we go. White's queen trying to cover the light squares. That's quite clever. Trying to stop the black bishop from joining the action, trapping the white king. But
yeah, but Magnus losing the piece after knight g3, queen e5, and potential bishop f5 check. He's just
that's just game over.
Like the simplest way. First you have to calculate.
40
this
seconds.
Sure.
Yeah, so maybe there are other moves as well, but black's knight going and capturing the white bishop wins on the spot. As Yevgeny points out there are some deadly checks. White's king is just in too much peril. Black could even maybe just push the pawn forward. That would be tempting as well, but knight takes bishop, and look at Magnus. He's realised he's about to lose. At minimum, he's going to lose a knight. Checkmate might be coming as well. No way to save this game. Okay, he takes a pawn, and yeah, black has plenty of ways to win this now. You can just move the knight, you can give a check, you can bring the knight back to where it came from.
Any square for knight works, yeah.
And white's king only has one safe square now. You have to go up the board. That is not going to be safe.
Wow, what a crazy moment, you guys. 16-year-old about to beat Magnus Carlsen.
Yeah, and he's just trying to cling on. Magnus has literally got his fingernails now, just clinging onto that cliff edge.
Yep.
But oh wow, what a move. Black cuts the coordination between white's queen and the second rank. And is Magnus about to resign? Is he going to throw in the towel? White's knight now hit by the black queen, and if it moves, there's a deadly check in the corner. It's just game over.
Yeah, game over.
Wow, has he ever won before, Praggnanandhaa, against Magnus Carlsen in any official game?
I don't think so.
I don't
No,
think
I
so.
don't think so.
It's a historical moment, and it's here. Magnus Carlsen, the world champion, loses to 16-year-old